The following is a special presentation of Tony Kurre Radio.
Welcome back to K4Wins on Tony Kurre Radio. Get that TKR app. Of 100,000 folks have gotten that app. We started as a classic rock station 5 years ago. And the man sitting to my right or my left, depending on how you look at it, was one of my first advertisers. He, of course, is the main sponsor with our AC/DC show we do every Wednesday night, which is seen by nearly 40,000 folks every Wednesday night. It's a huge show. And, of course, AC/DC coming back to the States. And I know you and I will both be at that Atlanta show August 26th or 27th?
27th.
August 27th.
Yeah,
we're gonna be all
my wife took my youngest, Knox, to the dentist yesterday, dentist appointment, and they tried to set his next appointment for August 27th. They were talking to my wife there, and he's like, no, that's the AC/DC concert in Atlanta. I'm like, okay.
I love it. That is fantastic. That's great. Yeah, I missed the last one up in Nashville. Half an hour away, you call me, they canceled the show. Weather, I couldn't believe it. They rescheduled for the night after. I couldn't go. So I ended up taking my son. 10th row, Def Leppard, not obviously as good as AC/DC, but pretty damn good. Thanks to Jay Wilson, the crew, for taking care of me out there at the Coca-Cola Amphitheater. But yeah, looking forward. And I'm glad I told them they're going to be so much better in an enclosed type of situation. I almost hope it's raining that night because AC/DC enclosed just means the louder it's going to be, the better it's going to be. So I will see you at that show.
Loud.
We will be tailgating before that show for sure anyway. All right. Speaking of being loud, right now, Duke, Michigan, UConn, Arizona, the 4-1 seeds right now. We got Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas, Auburn, barely. Hanging on by a pew bear, A&M, Mizzou, Tennessee, Vandy, Kentucky, Texas, Florida. And I'm sitting here looking right now. We have 11 teams in from the SEC, but 4 of them are at a 10 or an 11 seed. We may go from like 11 teams in. We're definitely not going 12. We're more likely going 10, but there's a damn good shot we're going 9. And there's a possibility, if it falls apart, depending on how they're playing each other, that we may only get 7 or 8 in. I don't think that happens, but the Auburn Tigers, certainly one of those teams that's going to be on the outside looking in right now unless they get it together. You and I pegged it. They beat Kentucky, and of course, what they do 2 nights later, they go to Oklahoma and get laid out. They're a 2.5-point dog, and they lose, and it's just like standard. Everyone in the world thought, okay, this is the Auburn team we're hoping to see. So talk about them. Let's start right there with the Auburn Tigers. Do they get in or do they get out? What do you think is going to happen with Stephen Pearl's team when it comes down to the nitty gritty? And do they make the big dance?
I think the loss of Oklahoma really hurt them. I mean, they're 6-9 right now with 3 games in the conference left.
And it used to be, man, if you were sub 500 in conference play, a lot of people said you shouldn't get in. Of course, teams do get in. We've seen Big East teams get in all the time, but continue. But 6-9 is not good in the SEC, but you got 11 teams getting in, so it's a good conference.
They got Ole Miss at home this weekend. They should win that game to get them to 7-9. Then they have LSU at home. They should win that game to get to 8-9. And then they finish at Alabama, and I just cannot see them winning at Alabama. So 8-10 in conference. Do the 2 victories get enough for them? They're going to have to win at least 1 in the SEC tournament, in my opinion. Maybe 2.
Maybe 2. I would agree. And again, it depends on who they're playing because you're playing some slop there at the top. But really, I mean, when you're talking about the conference as a whole, it's 11 of the 16 teams have a shot to get in. It's a great conference. So I would say 8-10 is good enough to get in. 8-10, you can actually make an argument that 8-10 is good this year in the SEC.
Well, I mean, yeah, the only other team that's being considered for the NCAA tournament is Georgia, that has a losing record. They're 7-8, but they've got USC at home, which they should win that game to get to 8-8. Then they've got Alabama, which who knows? Alabama's playing very well, in my opinion, right now. And then they end at Mississippi State, and it is not easy to win at Mississippi State. Hubbard just plays so well at home. Completely different kid on the road, but one of the best shooters in the conference. So that's going to be tight. I mean, we've got talking SEC, because we're coming up on the last 7-8 days of games. Considering this weekend and next weekend. Florida is the 1 seed, and I think they're pretty locked into that 1. Being 13-2 with 3 games left, they got a 2-game lead. So they got to win one of their last 3 games. They got Arkansas at home, Mississippi State at home, and at Kentucky.
Yeah, I think they're going to be in great shape. And I know that you are well versed for this, and so I kind of want to. There's nothing I can't throw at you that you're not going to have an answer to. So I kind of want to go a little team by team. Obviously, we're down here in the South. I want to go Alabama next. Obviously, a 4 seed. The Bediako situation hopefully is finally done. They've won 7 in a row without him. Get it right. They're playing fantastic together. They're actually playing some defense. They're actually got a 6'11" guy down below. They're actually going into the paint a little bit, which is amazing for them to see. And by doing that, it's opening up even more threes for them. But a 4 seed as of right now, according to Lenardi, they're obviously in the big dance, but how much action, how much trouble can they make for the rest of the field, do you think, once they start?
I think when you get into the SEC tournament, especially, I mean, they're sitting at 11-4. They go to Tennessee Saturday, then they go to Georgia, then they have Auburn. So they don't have the easiest schedule left, but I mean, the way they're playing, they moved up more than anybody else top 25. They moved 8 spots up this last week, and the way they're playing, and like you said, key thing is they're actually playing defense.
Yeah, I can't
after that Arkansas game where they played no defense.
Yeah,
they have stepped it up around before that game and after that game. We had the under in that game that we posted. That was just a great pick, and for a double overtime, 1,000 to 1,000 game. So just go figure based on how well they were playing defensively, and they jumped up into the top 20 KenPom rating before that game defensively.
Yeah.
So you got to look at what they're doing, the way Philon and Holloway, I think his name, is playing. Their big guy, the 2 big guys played pretty well this past week. I haven't seen the line for tomorrow yet. I would assume it's going to be Pick'em, or Alabama might even be 1.5, because with Tennessee being 22nd, you got 17th ranked team there, 3 points for home. Few for if it was neutral, they're at Tennessee. So I'm interested to see that line tomorrow. I haven't seen it. Have you seen it?
I'm looking for it right now, and I do not see a line for Alabama. We're going to go through all the games, by the way. People, I got a couple of emails, info@TonyCurryRadio.net. People love it when we go game by game, just to give some ideas, because they were looking to play some games. So we'll go through the schedule tonight, including, of course, the Miami Redhawks. They're going to get after it later on tonight, 28-0. They're taking on Western Michigan tonight, giving up 11.5. But we got some monster games, including Virginia Duke, which is like 9.5. Wow. Okay. And Duke, we ain't screwing around here. Virginia's only lost 3 games. So we'll get to some of those games real quick. I want to go around the SEC. Kentucky's got an interesting game against Vanderbilt tomorrow. What are your thoughts on those Wildcats sitting there 18-10? Really can't afford to lose any games, particularly against Vanderbilt and particularly at home.
Yeah. Still, I haven't seen that line, either on early lines. I think the only line that may be up for tomorrow is the Duke Virginia game. I saw
there are several lines up, and we'll go through them in just a few minutes.
I just can't see Kentucky losing that game at home. Vandy is just not. They're not the same team on the road, which makes me wonder how they're going to go. They're tied, but they're sitting 6th right now. And they have at Kentucky, at Ole Miss, and at Tennessee.
By the way, Alabama, 4-point dog at Tennessee tomorrow.
Wow.
I just saw that and I'm like, whoa, because you thought it would be closer to maybe 1.5, something like that.
Well, you've got, so you're going into the lower ranked home favorite in this situation. And the way you're supposed to play that is you're supposed to play Tennessee.
Yes.
I'll have to get into it more this afternoon and in the morning, but that is a game that everyone says you're supposed to play Tennessee like that. But Alabama's going to have huge revenge on their mind. Tennessee beat them at Alabama by 3 points, but Alabama was missing 2 starters, and they had Bediako playing in that game. So, and I think that was his first game.
Yeah, I don't mean to throw you off because you were in the midst of telling us about the Kentucky Wildcats. How important is this game they get this victory?
It's huge,
yeah.
because they're sitting in 8th place, but they're tied with, they got 3 teams in front of them, including Vandy. So it's big for them, especially for tournament seeding where, the big blue nation will travel very well for the SEC tournament. They always do. And the SEC wants Kentucky in the semifinals or the finals because they're going to have a ton of people there.
Absolutely.
If they're not in the semifinals or finals, then you got a little bit, 3, 4, 5, 6,000 less people there.
I say this in a kidding way, but there should be like a group of teams: Duke, North Carolina, not Michigan. I know they're incredible, but not Michigan. Kentucky, UCLA, just because of Wooden, that they should have like an automatic bid every year. They just get an automatic bid. They just get in. You know what I mean? I mean, seriously. I mean, they won enough, and they're just great for the sport. Kentucky's great for the sport. You either love them or hate them, and they're great for the sport. So yeah,
I hate them. Just for the record.
I know you do. I mean, and most people do. They're sitting right now at a 7 seed, and they could play themselves out if they get bumped early. If this is one of these teams that gets knocked out in the first round of the SEC somehow and just doesn't play right, I think they're going to get in as an at-large, but it's going to be tight. It's going to be someone else coming in at 23-4 or something like that, not getting in because Kentucky and their blue blood is going to get in. And you mentioned,
well, what do you think? What do you think about them, Tony? I mean, they're at home against Vandy, then they go to Texas A&M, and then they end the regular season at home against Florida.
They're going to go one. They're going to go 1-2. Not surprised at all if they go 2-1, and but would surprise the hell out of me if they go 3-0. I haven't seen Kentucky put together a nice little 5-game stretch at the end of a season in about 7 years. I'm always waiting. I'm always waiting for Kentucky. Yeah, I'm always. I don't think so either. And it's at Florida, correct? I mean, it's
at Kentucky.
It's at Kentucky. Okay, so that line will probably be Florida 5, 6, something like that, maybe.
Yeah, probably, because you have a lot of top teams that are ahead of Florida that have very difficult schedules over the next week.
Yeah,
Florida could play their way into a 2 seed and a high 2 seed. In my opinion, over the next 2 weeks, including the SEC tournament.
Sure.
If they run off, they win their last 3 games, and then they go and they win the SEC tournament and win 3 games and end with 6 straight victories. And I'm only talking about the last 2 weeks. I don't see how they don't get to a 2. And in all reality, maybe even a 1. Seeing some of the games that these teams have left. I mean, you got Michigan that's up there as a 1 seed, and they go to Illinois, they go to Iowa, and then they end at home against Michigan State. I mean, that is not easy at all. But and we haven't gone through it. I won't jump ahead, but I mean, 5, 6, 7, and 8 that are ahead of Florida right now in top 25 do not have the easiest of schedules.
Yeah, the last team to go this deep without losing a game was Gonzaga back in 2020, 21, I think it was. The Miami team out of, and I got a friend of mine who actually went to Miami. I actually was given a scholarship to blow my horn at the University of Miami, the Red Hawks, when they were Red Hawks, and I did not take that. Thank goodness. I blow a few things, but my mouth's the only thing I blow these days. 11.5 they're giving up at Western Michigan. Obviously not a very good basketball team. Did they go 29-0 tonight? Any problems?
I wanted to lay this at 11.5. Well, I'm sorry, when it at 10. It's jumped to 11.5. I was going to buy it, get it under 10, but Western Michigan's just not that great. But Miami of Ohio, all their close games have been on the road. They have not. I know they've got a great against the spread record, but they don't play as well on the road. It doesn't always show up against the spread, but it shows in the play. But you either have to lay it or don't play it tonight. That's all you can do. Because I don't even have Western Michigan's record in front of me. I don't know.
I think they're 10-18.
Yeah. So, you would think Miami of Ohio would kill them, but it's on the road on Friday night. So you got to lay it or don't play it. That is the only thing you can do there. And by the way, Tony, so, we mentioned our 3 plays. If people are listening to the podcast on Tuesday, we mentioned our 3 plays. Well, we went 3-0.
Yep.
And those are the 3 that our subscribers got as well on that night, 3-0. So since Tuesday, when we announced on the podcast, when we talked about it, which we kind of just told you what to do in Miami of Ohio, we're 10-1 since Tuesday on our record.
It's ridiculous.
Not too shabby, huh?
Stinking ridiculous, man. And everyone who gets on board is like, how long have you guys been doing this? And I said, about 1.5 years. And they're like, really? And I'm like, yeah, if you did 1.5 years, you'd be up about 30 grand. You'd be rolling like, no shit. I'm like, yeah, but you got to play the plays, man. You got to play the plays. If you're serious about it, let the pros do it. We got Keefer, who of course is the chief editor of the Las Vegas Sun. This is what he does for a living. He does not sell his plays, but he gives them out for free right here on Tony Kurre Radio and on K4Wins. Michigan, big game against Illinois. He's only lost 6 games on the year. You got a number 3 against a number 10 in Michigan. It's one of those games where just as a peripheral fan, I'm going, wait a minute, they open at 1.5 or 2.5. Why in the hell would I not take the big blue minus 2.5 at Illinois on the road? It's because Illinois is tough at home in the Big Ten. I'd be all over Illinois tonight.
Yeah, we just talked about the record, and what they have left at Illinois, at Iowa, and Michigan State. So they're not going to be looking ahead. But I have not made a final decision on that game. My gut tells me that Michigan is one of the best teams in the country, night in and night out. Illinois can play like one of the best teams in the country, but they can also play like dog crap, and I've seen it before. Usually at home, they are the way to go, and I would definitely – I didn't look at the total, but I would take the over in that game as well.
There's not an over-under for it yet, but I would say, and I think the Duke game, obviously, I think scares a few people, but Duke is really, really good. I saw a bet the other day, Duke in the field, and a lot of people were like, you know what, they're going to take Duke. I can't believe we're forgetting this name called Coach K, but the coach they've got now, he's that good. And
Duke is right now, everybody's talking to them the overall 1 seed.
Yep.
And what are they going to have against them in the last week of the season before their tournament? They play at home against Virginia this weekend. Then they go to NC State, which I do not think is going to be a problem for them. And then they finish the season at home against North Carolina.
NC State's going to be NC State could be interesting just because the Wolfpack plays a different brand. Everyone plays a different brand of basketball at home. We saw what they did against North Carolina last week. They won by 24. That being said, though, they just absolutely got bludgeoned against Virginia the other night. We actually were going to play that under 151, and where did it fall? 151, 90-61. I wasn't afraid of Virginia scoring 90. I was afraid North Carolina State may actually get over 60 or 65 and screw it up, and they held them to 61 points, and that's the Virginia defense is playing like that Virginia defense that they have played for so long. Let's look at that Virginia Duke game. 9.5. If I was a playing man, and I am, I'd take Duke minus the 9.5 right now. If I was playing it, I'd probably leave it alone. But if you're believing in Virginia, they lost 3 games all year. If they're going to lose, you almost have to feel like it's going to be close. I don't think Duke can blow Virginia out. And if they win by 10, that's a blowout, man.
I think coming off of their NC State game, we'll see. But Duke plays so much better defense than NC State. And so you got to wonder, how many points does Duke have to have in this game to win? If Duke puts up 70, are they going to cover the 9.5? I haven't seen the total again. I think it's right around 151 again, isn't it? Or is it 141?
Yeah, by the way, the Michigan, by the way, and you were asking, and I just found it's 157. I know you said something about the over in the Michigan game. It's 157, which is pretty doggone stout. Duke, Virginia, 137.5. Yeah.
70-67. But if they both show up and play defense the way they're capable.
Shit, you may see a 59-55 game here. I mean, seriously, but they both play outrageous defense. I mean, there's only one team that's playing as well defensively, the Virginia, that's Duke right now. And that's so, but 9.5 seems like it's a big nut. If they cover, it'll be 60-49, 62-50. You know what I mean? And I hate games like that. I hate that.
You're throwing out under numbers big time.
I'll take the under.
I love unders when the total is less than 140.
I do too.
There's a reason why they put them there. I'm going to have to look at that one just a little bit more. I can't, because if I was going to do anything right now, I would probably lay it with Duke because of how well they're playing. Yeah,
a lot of people looking at Colorado, Houston, only because Houston went back to back to back top 5 teams. They got losses in all 3. Kelvin Sampson's team now comes home with 5 losses against a 16-12 tricky Colorado squad. Not sure what the line's going to be on that game. They have not posted that line, but I'm betting it's probably going to be double digits. It needs to be. And a lot of people, my friends, are like, Houston's going to come back and they're going to lay the wood to Colorado. They're going to be so pissed off they lost the last 3 games. Obviously, they lost to 3 very, very good teams. What number would you lie if you were a Houston fan? Would you go up to 12 or 13?
Yeah, I can see that line being between 12 and 15, and under 15, I would probably still. I mean, Houston is going to come back. I agree with your friends because of the 3 games they have left. All 3 of their last 3 games are at home, and it's Colorado, Baylor, and Oklahoma State.
Ouch.
So Baylor might give them a little bit of a test just because of the way that they play, but I really see Colorado heading into their tournament with 3 blowout wins coming out after 3 bad losses.
A couple of teams, the problem more like at-larges, but they certainly should get in. They're both 20-8. They play each other. Louisville at Clemson. I don't have a line on that game, surprisingly enough, because I thought there'd be a lineup on that game first. I'm assuming Clemson will be a very, very small favorite in that game. A little Jekyll and Hyde for the Clemson Tigers. My son goes to school there, and he's like, it's amazing. He'll be the first one. They suck tonight. They look like crap. They look like shit. I'm like, dude, they played 5 minutes, man. Relax. My son's always, if it's 14-0, the game's over. And of course, I think he does that. So the comebacks are even more important, more impressive.
Reverse psychology.
Yeah, he reverse psychology his ass off. It's unbelievable. But this would be a big win for the Clemson Tigers to get it at home against the Louisville Cardinals, who obviously are playing some good ball. What's your thoughts on that game?
I mean, anything less than 5, I'm going to lay it with Clemson. With Louisville. I'm sorry.
With Louisville, okay.
Yeah, I trust them more than I trust Clemson. It being at Clemson is the only reason I think that. I think if it's in their tournament and it's a neutral floor, I think Louisville's a 8-9 point favorite. If I can get a little bit less than that, I'm pretty happy. I don't think it'll be 5. I think it's going to be more like 2.5.
Another big line, and I'm kind of leaning over in this game at 145.5. Iowa State, it's up to 8.5 over Texas Tech, the number 16 team in the land. What's your thoughts on that?
Iowa State ends with Texas Tech, then they go to Arizona, and then they have Arizona State. And Texas Tech, without topping, has gotten a couple of wins in a row, which is kind of crazy. But what'd you say the line was?
It is 8.5. It opened at 7.5, went to 8.5, and then it came down to 7.5, and then went back to 8.5 again. 8.5.
Tell you what, Vegas this last 2 weeks of the season, including last week, they've had some really, really, really just perfect lines because
they have.
I want to take Iowa State, and I would have said, anything below 6, I would take them at home, especially with a Texas Tech team on the road without their best player. But 8.5, you're like, oh, you're right there. I mean, that's a whole nother possession.
Yeah.
And if it was to get to 9 or 9.5, then it's a 3-possession game, 4-possession game. I might take Texas Tech, but right now I'd go ahead and lay it with Iowa State because I think they're going to win. I do think they will cover the 8.5.
Another beautiful game too. Another 8.5. Kansas, Arizona. And by the way, just in case you're wondering, Kansas 9-20 over-unders this year. They're playing some under basketball. And again, Kansas has always built self-esteem, always play great defense. There's nothing to see games in the 50s for them. But Arizona giving up 8.5. That line open 8.5. It has not moved in Zona land with only 2 losses on the season. Kansas, we know they're in. It's just a matter of how high they are and where their number is. So this may be one of those precursor games where we're just going to find out what we're all about. But Arizona is a really good test for the Jayhawks this late in the season.
Well, and you don't know if Peterson's going to play for Kansas or not. You never know going into the game, which is, I guess it's the first college player ever with load management. Mm-hmm. If I'm in the NBA, I don't want to draft him. He's going to play less games than LeBron, and LeBron's 806 years old. Yep. So, you just don't know. Kansas ends with Arizona, then at Arizona State, then K-State. They're going to win 2 of those games. I just don't know, which 2, because can they beat Arizona? Yes. Can Arizona throttle Kansas? Yes. I go back to one of the things that I've heard you talk about a lot. Which team has the potential to blow the other team out? Yeah. Can Kansas blow Arizona out? Only because it's at home. Yeah. Only. They've had some great games at home, but if these 2 teams play 20 times, my opinion, neutral floor, Arizona wins all 20 times and probably pretty big, especially when I go back to the same thing. Who knows if Kansas' best player is going to actually play or not? Yeah,
Arizona's machine, man. Having seen them against Alabama, they just made them look silly in the second half. Bama was popping threes, looking good. They were right there in the mix. I think that line was 1.5. I think I called you. I think because I played it, and I just absolutely got bludgeoned in the second half. I think Alabama was catching 1.5, and I took them because it was Alabama And of course,
you're feeling great at halftime, and then you.
Oh my God! I should have stayed in the bathroom. Two teams that are obviously playing at the next level, and only two of the three teams in the Big East going to the big dance as of right now: Nova and St. John's. Nova, not surprising. St. John's, a little bit, but they've got this coach that's been there, done that. 22-6, both teams. The line is 5.5 for the Johnnies. What do you think?
Well, I don't think St. John's can possibly go and miss 24 shots in a row to end the game again, like they did against UConn. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
20.
It's almost impossible.
Shots?
It's almost impossible.
Two of them were layups.
Yeah.
One was a missed dunk.
Yeah.
I mean, wow. Now, UConn played some great defense. I don't care who you are. It's not just defense to get 24 stops in a row, 24 missed shots. Good Lord.
That's. I mean, three stops in a row is huge. Yeah, three. What do they call them? Xavier calls them the kills. If they get like 3 stops in a row, it's called a kill. And if they average 10 kills a game, they're going to win the basketball game. You got 24, 24 stops in a row. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, that's 8 sets of 3. So there you go. Yeah, absolutely. That's a game that, again, the teams were Jekyll and Hyde. And if I did anything, I hate to say it, but I would probably go St. John's. Which
should tell you just how strong the SEC is. And we've already talked about this game, but it's next in the rotation. So I'm going to go through it. The Auburn Tigers, 15-13 right now, and 11 seed, strongly on the bubble. But they've got an Ole Miss squad coming to town. They must win this basketball game. I can make an argument right now that if somehow Auburn loses to Ole Miss tomorrow, they're out. This is like, and if you win, you should win. It's not really going to help you a whole lot to be an 11-17 team, but if you lose, this could be the one that pushes them out for good. People are going to look at that game and go, what the hell just happened? Particularly after losing to Oklahoma.
Auburn needs to go 2-1. They need to win both of their games at home, and they have two of the bottom dwellers, coming to them in Ole Miss and LSU. So you've got to. You've got to. I haven't seen the line yet, but I have to say it's probably going to be somewhere around 7.
Yeah, I was going to say 8. Yeah, so you're probably right. Yeah.
So I think I would lay it because I just don't think. Ole Miss is 3-12 in the SEC. Their road record's awful, and they're just not a great team. I mean, they are 16th in the SEC. Now they're tied down there with South Carolina and LSU, who are both 3-12. But I mean, Auburn's got to wake up and play, and Pearl has got to know they are playing for their life, just like you said. If they lose that game, so then the question is, who's the pressure on? I mean, the pressure's on Auburn.
Sure.
Ole Miss knows they're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, unless they're playing in like the CBT tournament or whatever the hell it's called.
Not even that. Yeah.
So I like Auburn. I might even lay all the way up to 10.
Speaking of the devil, we've got 5 top 25 matches, and in every one of them, the line's somewhere between 8.5 and 9.5. And here comes another one. The Florida Gators giving up 9.5 to Arkansas at home. Arkansas has only lost 7 games. I was going to go look and see real quick what their ATS is this year, because Florida's been getting it done. Florida 14-10 against the spread. Arkansas 15-8. Both of them just about 500 when it comes to over-unders. But again, another 8.5, 9.5 point line, a big nut for the Florida Gators. Can you get over it?
I think they cover. I think it's actually kind of easy. I think Flag, their defensive guru, I think he shuts down Acuff. And by shuts down, I mean holds him to 20, 25. But the key in that game is going to be Florida's big men. Arkansas has done it. I know Acuff is their leading scorer and everything. He gets it. But they're big men and they're rebounding for Arkansas. I think they get killed on the boards this weekend. Again, I'm not a Florida fan. I'm a Tennessee fan. So it pains me to say that I think in the SEC, it's Florida and everybody else.
Yeah.
And their 2 losses were meh. So they didn't play well, but they're playing as well as anybody in the country. Right now, Alabama is the other team in the SEC that's playing really well. I like Arkansas a little bit, but they're not going to get – Arkansas is not going to score 100 points. And I know Arkansas is going to want to push the tempo in this game. I don't think you want to push the tempo against Florida. Now, I don't know with what the size that Florida can put on the floor if you want to slow it down with them, but you can't – you don't want to try to slow them down. Florida does not play as well, in my opinion, when they're running and gunning. And so that's Arkansas's only hope is to get this game and make Florida run their butts off. That's their only chance.
If you love basketball, then you know the late game going on tomorrow night. It's always the late game. It's at 9:30 kickoff. And man, these two teams hate each other, and the line's 1.5. By the way, did you know St. Mary's is 25-4 against the spread this year? They're taking on the Zags. Again, it's a 1.5 line at St. Mary's tomorrow night. Two teams that will be playing in the next level. So if you're looking to make a buck, maybe you're way up because you went to K4Wins.com. And you're like, hey, a couple of grand. Maybe I'll drop me 5 or 6 nickels on this thing. Just let it rip. What are your thoughts on, it being on the road is always kind of scary. But St. Mary's, they beat them 3 of the last 5 times. So St. Mary's, the Zags don't scare anybody in St. Maryland.
And Gonzaga has their best player still out. Now, he's supposed to be back for the NCAA tournament, but, he's out right now. And I don't know if you knew this or not. This is Gonzaga and St. Mary's last regular season game.
I know, right?
They move into their tournament next week. All right, I'm going to take 1.5, and I'm going to take St. Mary's to pull the upset at home and drop them down. I mean, it's a smelly fish for a reason. Mm-hmm. And like you said, 3 out of the last 5. So, and you're correct. Those two teams hate each other. Ooh. And now Gonzaga has a good team. They have some good
They lost
players.
2 games all year. Yeah, I mean, this is it's fantastic. They're the Zags, man. They're the Zags.
They're not scoring like they used to score, and that's going to be big because I actually think that game is going to be a slow, low-scoring game.
And that's
I don't know what the total is, but
that's why I'm all over the under 143.5. I think there were some games. I say 5 years ago. So when you're old, you double it. So it's 10 years ago, but I'll say it's probably about 7 or 8 years ago. But these teams used to run the floor, man, 87, 85, 90, 85, every single game. And if you watch the last couple of years, they're in the 50s and 60s. And I think a lot of people are looking at that 143.5 going 72, 70, 74, 70. Give me the under 143 all day. And St. Mary's will muddy it up. If you look at the games, and I have to go back and look, but the games at Gonzaga are always higher scoring than they are at St. Mary's. So keep that in mind.
And they're because they run and gun and they're used to it. I mean, it's amazing. People don't think about home teams. I mean, this is the gym that you shoot in every day. So you should, in theory, be better there. You know the little creaks and crevices where the ball bounces better, where there's a dead spot. You know those things. You know where there might be a little slippery spot on the floor. And as an offensive player, you use all these things to your advantage and as a defensive player. So yeah, absolutely. And I'll call it now. And I think that line's probably going to go to 3 or more. I'll take St. Mary's.
Let's look at Sunday real quick. UAB Blazers 18-10. They've won 8 games in a row on the road. For some reason at home, they're playing North Texas, a 16-13 team. Again, they'll be a favorite, probably 5.5, 6, something like that at home. They're not playing obviously at home at Bartow Arena like they are. They are playing the AAC tournament here starting March 10th at the BJCC. So while it's at home, it's really not at home, thank goodness, because they're not doing squat at Bartow. Another game that I had Mark Ingram on the show yesterday, spoke with him, asked him what they needed to do. And he's like, listen, they got out of Conference USA. So it wouldn't be a 1-bid league, but it's 1 bid again, in the AAC. They're going to have to win out. He said, and right now it feels like they're leaning towards NIT. He's like, I think we got a great shot at getting in the NIT, but, they're going to have to win out their tournament. I don't know if they can knock off Memphis again. So we'll see what the UAB Blazers, get done coming up on Sunday. Do you have any thoughts on that game at all?
And you said it's at Memphis?
No, it's at UAB, North Texas. North Texas at UAB.
Okay. North Texas, I don't know. Again, UAB just has not played well or as well at home. And so it's probably not a game that we're going to touch, but if I played it, I would probably play North Texas in this situation just because of the fact that UAB is just not playing as well at home.
And really, this is one of those ball games. They have another home game. I think East Carolina next week, I think is their last home game. So get down there and support your Blazers. I'll try to get down there tomorrow or Sunday, 11 o'clock right after church. It doesn't really matter what they should go 2-1 their last 3 games, but it doesn't really matter because they're going to have to win their conference tournament in order to get into the big dance. But they are playing for NIT eligibility. And I think that's important for a team like UAB, particularly since they brought 12 new guys, the only team in NCAA basketball out of 358 teams to bring 12 guys in that had not played 1 minute for the UAB Blazers. They're going to Michigan. They're going to East Carolina. They're playing Indiana. They're playing at Xavier. They're playing all over the place, but anywhere but UAB. So what Andy Kennedy has done has been amazing. I'm not sure why he didn't take that West Virginia job, because I know how close he was to Huggy when that job opened up. And I thought for sure, and he signed an extension at UAB. He is a UAB homer, and we're happy for it, because that's one thing we can always hang our hat on. 20 wins for the UAB Blazers. They get it done every year. But again, this new way of playing ball now, where you have to pay your players, UAB doesn't have the money to compete with that. They're basically
they don't.
They're training land for everyone else. And I hate that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the question. And so he brought 12 new in. So how many he's going to have to bring in next year? Because how many of these guys are going to get NIL deals to leave? I mean, exactly. From talking with tons of people, everybody says, hey, get a scholarship, whatever you can get to a smaller school. If you're not, one of the top 10 players in the country, go ahead, get your experience, go somewhere you can dominate for a year, and then get paid. And that is, so there's not any loyalty anymore in any sport. People are going to just go wherever the money is in any sport. Who's going to pay the most? That's where they're going. I mean, hell, look at baseball. For the first time, I think in like 30 years, you have a West Coast team that's number one in the country, UCLA.
Isn't that crazy?
And they spent a lot of money in baseball.
And they play.
They spent more money than LSU did, which is saying something.
And they play 365 days a year out there too, because the weather's a little nicer. So yeah, that's
my beloved Tennessee Vols, who are struggling to 6-2 this year, are playing UCLA in the baseball tournament today at 3. I think it's somewhere in Texas. I don't remember where it is, but that'll be good. Number 1 versus number 20.
That's you're talking Lady Vols?
No. Tennessee baseball.
Yeah, because they're Lady Vols number 1, right, in softball.
Yes, that's correct. And I think they play UCLA tomorrow, but the guys.
I only know that because UAB knocked them off last week. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, holy shit, UAB just beat Tennessee in women's softball. Oh. That's killer. All right. Anything else you want to look at before we go, man? Another fantastic show, obviously. K4Wins.com, K4Wins.com. Go to the website, K4Wins.com. Check it out as often as you like. It's a free site to go on to. Get on there and make some money. Anything else you want to get into? I know we have a ton of stuff going on. And I will say this. I think people would be surprised. We had bets in the Olympics. We do women's softball. If there's a number up on it and we like it, we play it. And if there's a way to win money on it, we play it, and we usually do. So is there anything else you want to mention before we let it fly?
3-1 last night, and we had a hockey game. Mm-hmm. We had a women's college basketball game.
Yes.
We had a men's college baseball game, and then we lost an NBA play. So 3-0 on some of those plays. Really love some of the women's college basketball that's going to be happening this weekend. And most places now take those bets, take women's basketball. So there's a lot of money to be made there, and especially the first round of the NCAA tournament, because it's not like the men's. The 1 seeds and the women don't lose to the 16 seeds.
No.
They beat them by 40 every time. And we talked about it earlier in the year where we laid 60.5 points
and covered
early this year with Ole Miss and with LSU. Both teams covered.
Oh.
So, yeah, I mean, I've never seen a 60-point line in men's college basketball.
No, that's pretty amazing stuff.
You've got to find the things. And that's why you use a service like ours. Let us find the little nuggets. Mm-hmm. I mean, we were on Miami, Ohio at the beginning of the year when nobody was. We've had the Merrimax, the UT Rio Grande Valley,
yes.
The Purdue Westland. So we like some of the smaller games. Everybody out there tries to get the top 25 games. And yes, there are advantages to find, but there are really, really, really good advantages to find on Friday nights, like tonight, when you don't have a lot of the big boys playing. Thursday nights, Friday nights, Sunday nights, great nights for college basketball.
K4Wins.com, K4Wins.com. Thank you, my friend. Have a great weekend.
Be good.
This has been a special presentation of Tony Curry Radio.